It should come as a surprise to absolutely no one experienced with the channel that the Mask of Bakris is one of, if not my favorite hunter exotic. But my latest form of ridiculousness that I've really been loving in the Crucible is pretty much role-playing as a fallen captain. Originally, this started as a meme in chat because, of course, I use the Mask of Bakris, and the Mask of Bakris essentially turns your dodge into that, I believe it's called Light Shift, which is a very similar ability, at least aesthetically, to when the captains or the fallen enemies, as you face them, do their little teleport notion. And when we combine that with something like Lord of Wolves, which is one of the signature weapons of the fallen, especially the captains, we get to do some shenanigans that they would do, except to other players in PvP, and it's actually really funny and surprisingly effective. The Fallen or the Eliksni are my favorite race in Destiny 2. Favorite race, enemy faction, I don't know what to call it anymore. I don't keep up enough with the lore. All I know is I love them, and I love their aesthetics, I love their weapons, I love their abilities, and it's really cool. So naturally, dressing my Guardian up as the Fallen or Eliksni aesthetic here, with the Shrapnel Launcher, aka Lord of Wolves, and their teleportability is really cool. I know this is not the most technical reason, but to me, it's really damn cool. But in terms of effectiveness in PvP and at a higher level, it's always far better than I ever anticipate. Even if I've used it before, I always surprise myself when I take this loadout out, and I think to myself, wow, this is actually really strong. So right now, this is my favorite thing to do because it's both incredibly fun and very effective. I use and talk about Mask of Bakris all the time, so I'm gonna set that aside and let our focus be on the Lord of Wolves. Of course, this thing used to be absurdly broken at one point, and since then it did get a nerf. However, it is still incredibly effective as one of the exotic shotguns. It definitely matches up with the strength of the Chaperone, Duality, or if we wanted to compare it to their fusion level counterpart, Bastion. The Lord of Wolves is essentially a shotgun pulse rifle hybrid, obviously meant for close and close mid-range. It deals 61 critical damage and 43 damage to the body, and you can, yes, kill in one burst. An entire burst taking 5 body shots will kill until 11 to 11.5 meters. Again, entirely only body shots, and that'll kill in 26 frames for that 5-shot kill. The damage drop off though also starts at 11.5 meters. So I believe as soon as you start getting damage drop off, that is when you no longer can go for 5 body shot kills in one burst. However, what you can do is you can go for some headshots. Getting 2 crit and 2 body will allow you to kill in 4 shots, so slightly faster for that slightly less than 1 burst kill, and that'll turn into 3 crit 1 body at 12 meters, and that'll equal to a 20 frame kill, just 6 frames less than the 5 body or 5 shot time to kill for that 4-shot kill. I was able to reliably get a 1 burst kill until maximum 13 meters, but at that range it's going to require more headshots, and more headshots gets more difficult to get with the weapon's recoil and having to kind of track with that singular burst. Although it's been incredibly nerfed to be a lot more random and have more of like a normal shotgun spread, the Release the Wolves mode is strangely more consistent in hipfire than it is while aiming down sights. When you aim down sights with this, your bullets go everywhere. It's like a normal shotgun pellet spread. When you hipfire with Release the Wolves, it actually remains accurate for the majority of the burst, with only just a few bullets really blooming out or hitting the outer perimeters of the shotgun reticle. I was testing this with one shotgun targeting mod, and I assume, although I did not test it, that shotgun targeting would affect the accuracy of this mode and the accuracy of this weapon's pellet spread in general. I actually don't recommend using the shotgun without a shotgun targeting mod. But as I mentioned, so long as you're hip firing, the Release the Wolves option is actually relatively consistent in 10 meters. So within 10 meters, you can probably use this. I don't recommend using this so much because it burns through ammo, and you still have to, again, be accurate while aiming from the hip, which can be a little bit more difficult to manage, especially when this weapon's recoiling in this 10 one burst mode. It's really nice though for when you know someone's around a corner, and of course, as this is a shotgun that has a time to kill, it's more like a really heavy hitting pulse rifle. It doesn't instant kill like other options, like maybe the Chaperone, Duality, or even just a normal well-rolled aggressive shotgun. So when you're going around a corner that you know you can get instant killed from, this might be a great option so that it minimizes your error or your potential risk, and you're able to really just kind of spray and get that kill, even maybe pre-fire it. So it kind of helps this weapon compete against traditional shotguns. So that's when I use this mode. Of course, you aren't always going to be one bursting, so your two burst actually can kill up until 14 to 15-ish meters, and a full two burst kill kills in 62 frames. One full burst plus the start or some of these shots in the next burst kill in roughly, give or take, 50 frames, and that's kind of a measurement on a more average scenario, I guess. So yes, Lord of Wolves is still very strong, in addition to, like I said, being very fun to use with Mask of Bakris. Mask of Bakris, on the other hand, combined with it, does essentially the same thing that it allows you to do with Chaperone. The way that I use this is to either close the gap on someone with a lot of speed, or make very quick shifts in my momentum to counter other players' momentum while still being in that perfect gap for my weapon, which with this shotgun or with Chaperone or a slug shotgun, you want to have a little bit of a gap. You don't really want to be awkwardly point blank. It gets much more awkward with these weapons. It's not as bad with Lord of Wolves because you don't really have to hit a headshot, but you still want to be ideally out of their shotgun one-hit kill range while still being within your lethal range. And Mask of Bakris lets you do that very often while being very hard to track and bouncing between target to target or countering other players' momentum. And of course, like I've said many times, with this and Lord of Wolves, you get to have some good Fallen Captain or Elixir Captain. I'm not sure how to address it at this point. I don't pay enough attention to the lore, but some really cool mimicking abilities of my favorite faction in Destiny 2. It's interesting to think of the trade-offs for how this really competes with Chaperone or Duality. I think Lord of Wolves offers lots of consistency because it doesn't have to hit as many headshots to be lethal for some really good consistent range, but at the same time it also has a time to kill, unlike other shotguns like the Chaperone or Duality, which it would be competing with as an exotic. So it lacks that instant kill ability, but it offers you some good consistent range, but you have to stay on target longer and you actually have a time to kill, and you need to track the enemy with this weapon instead of just an instant go over their head, boom, and it's one and done, move on to the next target. So that could be easier or harder, I guess, depending on how you see it. To me, it is overall a little bit easier because, again, you don't have to line up headshots, you don't have to spend that thought, you kind of just go towards the target and start shooting as long as you are relatively on target, even if it's at the body, and you just have to track your target for a little bit. Not too many frames in my opinion, so I don't know. It's kind of weird to think of, is that easier or harder? The way I've always seen it is it's easier, but I could see how it could be perceived as either or, to be honest. To get those really deep 13 or 12 meter kills though, you do have to hit more headshots to get the one burst, and I want to say more than not, you are going to be two bursting at that range, and that's the range at which Chaperone can get a headshot and kill instantly without tracking. So I want to say for that range, it's actually not as effective. But how I feel this weapon is effective is because it doesn't require headshots for even, like, I guess a full body shot burst or maybe even a two burst. It allows you to react much quicker is the thing. You don't have to second guess if you're gonna hit a headshot or not, or line that up like I mentioned. It's just drag to the target, pull the trigger, maybe pull it twice, and just track your target. And usually them being hit by this is a lot of pressure to deal with. You do still have to be aware of the enemy being able to instantly kill you and play spacing accordingly, but I think this weapon is still great, and especially when you use it like a traditional shotgun where you've dealt some damage or primed them with your primary first and it's made them weak. You can definitely clean up with this weapon very easily, and it's very, very strong as a result. So really interesting weapon. I think it's a really cool build. It's a lot of fun. It's hilarious. So try it out if you like. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.